Hi everybody, welcome back to another Workout Wednesday. Sorry that we've missed these past couple weeks, but hope you enjoyed the last week's video with Sharon Qualls, kind of an old one, but we figured it was still a little bit relevant to pull back in. But for this week, we do have another realtor out of our World Golf Village office, Matthew Adams. Matthew, welcome.
Thanks, Noah. Appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll roll right in. We ask this question to everybody whenever we start. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. We can break it up into three parts. So it can be what were you doing before you got into real estate, how did you get started in real estate, and then how has your real estate journey been so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So when my wife and I, at the time she was my fiance, we moved to South Florida from Boston.
Yeah.
I was actually a graduate admissions director. I was hired, got tired of the snow, ended up moving down there, and at the time we were actually looking to buy a home. I kind of saw a bunch of homes that were a little bit overpriced. I didn't really see the value in some of those homes. And then I started exploring, really, could I buy a home on a lower price point and put some work into it?
Yeah.
And then I realized I learned about this 2 and 5 year rule with the IRS, where you're not to pay any capital gains on your primary residence, up to $250 for individuals and $500K for married couples filing jointly. And I was like, whoa, I can, if I can get out and turn this property, it was really going to be an opportunity for me. And we were fortunate enough to have done that a few times when we were down there. But you could only has to be your primary residence, and obviously there's some sweat equity.
Yeah.
There's some.
So the gears started turning.
Yeah, the gears started turning a little bit. Lo and behold, I ended up, while I was doing one of the projects, I ran into the dean of the business school at the Harry Styles Real Estate Development Program at Nova Southeastern University. Told me to take some closses, loved to have me in there. I sat in on a few. I was like, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
Just fell in love. So it was just a real estate development program. So it's a little bit of combination of modeling properties, commercial, residential, a lot of focus on single-family developments.
Very cool. So so you said that you were kind of flipping this home while you were earning your master's degree. Has there been anything that you've learned from that time of either the master's degree or flipping the home that you've now applied to your real estate business?
Absolutely. Whether it's what was in the academia side of things, where I was taking land use and planning development, reading municipality codes, that super exciting stuff. Yeah. Or it was really what I enjoyed was the financial modeling courses, taking and really examining the property, trying to figure out its highest and best use. Is there a market for it? And one of the things I apply from the residential standpoint is I really look at every single property, whether it's a single-family home, a mobile home, land, retail, commercial, whatever it is, and looking at it from standpoint of what its current valuation is, what its highest and best use. I always joke with people that I'm the worst realtor in the world, because I tell you that if the property, I'm definitely going to tell you not to sell unless you're going to move it into another residential or retail space or another investment. On the end of the day, I'd love to sell your property, help you do that throughout the process. But if your highest and best use is a rental, I'm going to tell you what the rental rates are, what the market rate. And so looking at it from the academic standpoint, it's been really helpful and giving that honest and transparency to them.
Yeah. So kind of going off that academia part, has that experience, especially being in graduate admissions, has that shaped your business at all, or how you viewed the real estate industry, just in terms of like nurturing clients?
Yeah, I mean, I was in recruitment for a long time. I actually started out as a college basketball coach when I was finished done playing up in New Hampshire, and kind of fell into admissions and enrollment, and that was a full recruitment process. So, I'm very familiar with marketing and working with clients and tracking through CRM, focusing on that nurturing process from day one of the initial contact all the way through, getting them to enroll. So there's a lot of steps in that go into that place.
So now I have a buddy who works in college admissions at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
He travels around a lot. Was that kind of what you were doing, or was it?
There was. I mean, when I first got started, there was a lot of that. I mean, especially with coaching, it was across the U.S. On there. You were recruiting, and you weren't just recruiting, the student. We were recruiting mom and dad. We were recruiting the coach. We were recruiting the admissions counselor, the custodian at the school. I could tell you anybody their names and faces on there. I could probably still walk into a school today and probably know half the people in here in Northeast Florida. So
very cool. So whenever you did relocate to Jacksonville or Southern Florida, even, what was the reasoning behind it? Like, what made you want to go down to? So I know you said kind of like the cold weather, but was there like another primary purpose of going to South Florida?
Well, we were basically. I was looking to get out of the cold, and the price points of Boston were super high on home. I was going to have to commute like an hour, drive into the city, snow. South Florida, the price points and everything were really good. They ended up matching my salary from Boston. So it was fantastic from that standpoint. We ended up relocating up here to Northeast Florida because my wife said, hey, I'm pregnant with our twins. Yeah. So we get a couple 18-month-old little whippersnappers running around, and then my 3-year-old daughter. But she has some family here, so we fell in love with the Jacksonville area. Yeah.
So it's nice to have family to help out with the little ones too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you focus a lot on residential real estate, but you have made a shift into commercial real estate as well. What do you find unique about each areas of real estate with residential and commercial?
Yeah. Well, commercial is definitely, it's about the dollars and cents. It's about the returns, return on investment, your cap rate, your internal rate of return, you name it. So there's a lot more driven on the performance of the property than it is necessarily. There's a lot more emotion in single family home sales.
Absolutely.
And I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot of carryover that people aren't maybe necessarily focusing on. That they're making some of the largest purchase. Most people's equity are tied into their homes, right? So understanding the value of your home and how that property is performing, even though you're living in it. And on there, I know everybody needs shelter and a great home, but there's a huge piece of value that your equity is tied into. Yes. So everybody, at the end of the day, whether it's a commercial or residential property, there's always going to be some sort of performance based on that.
Yeah. So is there a process of that nurturing that looks different in these two areas? Like, obviously, with residential, it's much more emotional.
Yeah.
But with commercial, what you're saying, how it's more performance in dollars, how does that process of nurturing the client look?
Well, in terms of nurturing the clients on there, I have a client of mine that I actually told him that he was thinking about listing. He was interviewing agents. And I did a listing evaluation for him, came and met with him and his wife, and I was the only realtor that told him do not sell. Because in that neighborhood they were getting rental rates about $2,750, and his debt service was very low. He had a lot of equity into it. He didn't need to sell the property, and now he's currently renting it on, and his cash-on-cash returns are fantastic. And so that's a measure that I use with short-term investors. I use it on my oftentimes with all my retail and commercial spaces on there. So really getting to understand what your cash-on-cash returns, and I was able to show him that in a very quick and easy-to-follow model. So
absolutely. Now, residential real estate is a lot about building those lasting relationships. Oftentimes, you'll see realtors sell to a single family multiple times throughout their life if they can build that relationship. How are you nurturing relationships after the deal closes to ensure that these clients are still thinking about you whenever they are wanting to sell again?
Well, to be quite frank with you, it starts with the initial relationship with them. And if they feel that you have their best interests throughout the entire part of the transaction, that you genuinely care about them, and you're not just another transaction, which is one of the reasons why I came to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, was the single agency relationship here. That genuine relationship carries through, and picking up the phone and calling them, or shooting them a text, or sending them a holiday card, or I always check in with my clients around Thanksgiving, say, hey, what do you need? You're 2 days out. Some people are like, I can't find pies right now. Don't worry, I got you. It's one of those things that I treat them all as basically, even though they're clients, as part of my family and sphere of friends. So if they know you have your best interest and you follow up and stay just like you would with your friends and family, I think that goes a long way.
100%. First impressions matter a lot.
Yeah. So I totally agree.
Yeah. So how are you balancing the technical side of your job, like looking at a lot of data? Obviously, you want to stay knowledgeable on market market data, any kind of real estate industry news that is happening, with that personal side, understanding and kind of breaking down to that emotional level with the client? How are you balancing those two?
Well, I was fortunate enough to take Linda Benson's EE class,
Yeah.
and I've been focusing on really having a really good plan of operation through like 12-week planning. And one of the things I try to do is I try to build out a level of understanding of data. So I have a few blogs and a few emails that come in every morning that I read right off the bat.
Yeah.
I always check my MLS reports and my neighborhood reports. So if I'm working or farming with a neighborhood, like, for example, where I live in Windward Ranch,
Yeah.
I know every house that's sold today. I know every new listing that comes on. I have a listing report.
Yeah.
And understanding, so you've got your farming neighborhood, you've got your big economic and global issues and your regional and Jacksonville news, so that every day you're starting with an understanding of on there. I also pay for like the Crexy, CoStar, LoopNet premium accounts because I do commercial.
Yeah.
So between those and the MLS reports I get each day, I try to spend my first hour really getting an understanding of what's going on.
Absolutely. See, I think I'm the same way too. I have a lot of newsletters that come in my inbox daily, and I try and keep up with them just so I can be, one, just on like world news, just so I can at least be knowledgeable on it. I know what's happening, but then also industry news, where one with real estate and then also with marketing.
Absolutely.
So I try and can see where I can find areas that those two mesh, or if it spawns an idea for content, I can kind of think about that. But yeah, no, I think that's something that people obviously do a lot, but it's not touched on. So.
If you even carve out 30 minutes, you don't have to read through the whole newsletter. Some stuff's going to catch your eye, some's not.
Yeah.
But you've got your MLS report, you've got your neighborhood. So, and one of the things I love about scheduling with the MLS is that when new listings come on, you already know the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're like, oh, that's too overpriced, or oh wow, that's actually a really good buy. So you can now talk about that neighborhood on there because you're able to get that daily feed.
I mean, especially helpful now too, because we hear aunts say a lot. It's the holiday season when you're going to visiting family. One question they're going to ask you is, "How's the real estate market?" And you want to be able to answer that question knowledgeably. So
100%.
Staying up to date is so super important. On that note of kind of holiday season, end of the year, what are some of your goals for this upcoming year in real estate, and kind of what do you hope to continue evolving yourself in this upcoming year?
Yeah. Well, quite honestly, I do everything from commercial leasing, commercial listing leasing, to acquisition, to single-family residential. I've got some goals in mind in terms of the first 12 weeks because I'm on Linda's program here, which is fantastic.
Very nice.
Keeps you organized and transparent on what you want to accomplish. At the end of the day, though, like, it's about closing these transactions for your clients. And but basically my goal is that every actual transaction that I have in the books right now that's closed and sold by the end of the year. Yeah. So I've got a big push through December, and then I got another 12 weeks to kick back on there.
Sweet. Very nice. Final question. What advice can you offer to other real estate agents? This is anybody that's looking to get into commercial maybe, or they're just starting out in their career. Anything you have for that?
Get your butt in the office and get out of your little home cubicle. I think that really getting in there, getting in the office, talking to other agents, learning about their deals, hearing the language and lingo that's going on. It's great that you can work from home and you have that ability. But I'm going to tell you, I think there's no substitute for getting out there and meeting clients, getting out there and talking to your broker, attending the meetings on there. It's difficult with me to attend some of the morning meetings because I got the kids. Yeah. But I always try to catch up. Tracy, my broker over here, has been fantastic with circulating some of the Zooms. Yeah. So I will go back and catch those when I got a minute on there as well. So, but I think getting out of your home, your own little bubble. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's so awesome about our company. Obviously, other real estate brokerages do have offices, but with us, whenever you do walk into each one of our offices, there's always people there. They're always working with one another. They're always collaborating. So that's something that's just so important too. Because I think a lot of people think of real estate as so flexible. You have a really lackadaisical schedule that you can make for yourself, and you can make it your own. But you can't truly succeed unless you're working with other realtors and you're in an office and you're trying to learn more about it and working with clients.
It's funny you say that because I have 4 agents I'm working with on 4 separate deals that I only met and we got engaged with them through being in the office. Yeah. So
just proving the point.
Yeah, I've got my own business, but at the same time, we were able to work and collaborate on some bigger projects. So, cool. Yeah, thank you, Noah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So that'll cover it for this week's Workout Wednesday. I will put Matt's social media handles on the screen so you guys can go check him out further, check out some of his content. He's been putting out some really cool videos, so just keep a lookout for those. Next week, we will have on another special guest, but other than that, take care.